to Outlaw Talk.
Welcome to Outlaw Talk, folks.
I'm Hal and Tommy,
I'm Blues Johnson.
and we got a special guest today.
Yep.
John Dancy.
Yes,
Got
sir.
Mr. John Dancy today, folks. And today we are going to be talking about all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, we'd be talking about a little bit about what he does and what he likes to get into and stuff he collects. And we just hope you have a good time today on Outlaw Talk and be something interesting.
That's right. Well, Mr. John Dancy, I would like for you to tell us a little bit about yourself real quick.
Okay, I'm an agent, independent contractor with Auto Appraisal Group out of Charlottesville, Virginia. And what I do is I go inspect cars within 2 or 3 hours of Sheridan, Arkansas area. And I do a inspection, paint meter readings, take pictures. This is for someone who is buying a car that is way off. They can't come look at the car in person. I do the values like for estate sales, resale, anytime legal matters on cars, diminished value when a car is involved in an accident. And that's what I do for as an auto appraisal agent.
All right. And you're based right here around Sheridan,
Yes, sir. Yes, I am.
right here in Grant County.
Yes, sir.
And you do. How long have you been doing this? You say?
Since 2016, July 2016.
About 2016.
Yes, sir.
And you enjoy doing this
Yes, sir.
a lot, right?
Yes, sir. Get to meet a lot of different people, a lot of different cars I've never seen in person. It's been several years ago that it was a car that had pocket doors. It was a compete with I can't think of the name of the car right now, but it had pocket doors.
Okay.
It was going to compete with a Corvette from 55 to 56. So I've seen a lot of different manufacturers over the years. We tried different things. They weren't all SUVs like they are now. There's a lot of different, Pacers, Gremlins. Mm-hmm. I know a guy in Louisiana that collects Vegas.
So, as far as these auto appraisals, you also do restorations, right?
Yes, sir. I'm working on an '89 town car right now that was bought new for Carl Perkins. Some of y'all may remember Carl Perkins. He had a song, Popular Blue Suede Shoes. He recorded a lot of songs in Memphis Sun Studio with Jerry Lee Lewis and Elvis Presley. He was more popular overseas than he was in the United States. And he, I think, passed away in '96 or so, and I bought the car. I've had this '89 town car, about 5 years or so, and working on restoring the car. And I have the paperwork and a letter from his son. I even have a record album of here, Carl Perkins standing on the backside of the town car that I'm restoring.
Okay. All right. I'm going to fix to bring you up a picture of the town car
Okay.
that you are restoring right now. And let's see if folks can see this. Shrink it down
How
a
much?
little bit
How
here.
much you think you'll have to put in that to get it back to original? Just an estimate. It ain't got
25,000 or so.
what about that?
25,000 or so.
25,000. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That including the paint job and all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
That ain't too bad, And you said it's got the 305 in it?
302
302.
overdrive transmission. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yep. There's the car right here.
And it does have a license plate on it. It's got the Blue Suede Shoes license plate on it.
Right. Yes, sir.
On the front of it. There
Right.
it is.
Yeah, just bring it up here. You can kind of see it right there.
That makes it unique.
Yep,
Belong
definitely
to Carl
unique.
Perkins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a letter from Stanley Perkins, notarized signed from the guy who bought it from Stanley Perkins before I bought the car. That it was purchased new in Jackson, Tennessee.
Okay.
So
Let's see.
you just travel all over the place and on the cars?
Yes,
You
sir.
like-
Car shows. I've been to Hershey. Hershey is a big car swap meet car show in Hershey, Pennsylvania. It's about a week. I've been to the Gilmore. The Gilmore is a car museum in Kalamazoo, close to Kalamazoo, Michigan. They have a Lincoln Museum, a Cadillac Museum, a Hood Ornament Museum, Franklin Car Museum, Model T Museum. It's called the Gilmore. It is in Indian Meadows, Michigan, but it's close to Kalamazoo, Michigan. And I'm also part of the Lincoln Continental Owners Club. I was a Southern Regional Director when I lived in Memphis area, and I've been to Lincoln's. I have a couple town cars. I drive a 2010 and a 2009 Lincoln Town Car. And I've had several Lincolns over the years.
You just restored a different car besides that one.
Yes, sir. I did have just sold to a car museum in San Diego, California. It was an '83 Shelby Dodge Charger. I did a little bit to it. The car really didn't need a whole lot to it. It was in pretty good shape. It was bought new in around El Dorado, Arkansas, and I had the car for about 2 years. And I buy and sell and collect. The Charger was sort of an unusual car for me. It had a 5-speed, and when I go to car shows, I have to explain to younger guys what those things are hanging on the door panel. It's a crank. You crank the windows up. A lot of people don't realize you didn't have a button. You had to crank the windows by hand. And I'm selling. I got on eBay an '86 Pontiac 6000 STE in a parts car. And it has a digital dash, and it has all kinds of buttons. And it has an airbag suspension, and it has an option where you can.
Now, would this be the car?
Yes, sir. That's the '86 I have on eBay right now, and it does have hoses to it where you can air up the tires to the car. The car Pontiac had that option 69 and 70 on the Bonneville, and they also the STE the 6000 was to compete in the 80s with the Mercedes and BMW. It was a performance type car.
Very nice. Now, let's see here. Got some more pictures on here. Let me see if I can bring them up. Let's see. About the Lincoln, we've got some paperwork here. It looks like. What do we? Okay. All right.
It's
Yeah. Who's this?
picture of Stanley Perkins and the gentleman who I bought the car from. Well, I actually bought from the state, but when he bought the car and had Stanley Perkins sign a letter, and he took a picture of Carl Perkins' son in Jackson, Tennessee.
Okay. I see. All right. That's pretty neat. And let's see what else we got a picture of here. We've got several pictures to show y'all here. Let's see. We've got this here. Explain to us what this might be. This is a certificate of authenticity.
Yes, sir. The car that Stanley Perkins signed, proving that it was notarized. It was actually his father's car.
Yeah, you can see it right there. It says Stan Perkins,
Right,
son
yes.
of Carl Perkins.
Yes, sir.
That is very interesting. Absolutely. And let's see, what else picture we have of that. I think that's about all the pictures we have of that car that I have here. So you've got another Lincoln in here. You're kind of a Lincoln fan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, can you
Yeah,
explain
that's
to
a
us?
2009 Lincoln Town Car, and it's got like 220,000 miles on it. It's sort of my daily driver, and then I have the Continental Edition Town Car. It's got 80,000 miles. I mainly take it on trips.
I
and so
got
forth.
you. Well, they're very nice cars for sure. Now there's we'll show y'all another picture here of something that's dear to my heart. It's a picture of a guitar, and let's see, can you explain to us about about what you've got going on here. This is a beautiful.
Well, I would
guitar.
like to eventually meet with Stanley Perkins and get him to sign the guitar. I haven't been able to locate a Carl Perkins guitar. Well, I've seen some at auctions, but they were about the price of a Lincoln, so I wasn't able to buy that. But I would like to eventually get that signed by Stanley Perkins.
Absolutely.
And when I take the town car to car shows, there's a big car show I sometimes go to, Tupelo, Mississippi, Blue Suede Cruise. You know, that's where the birthplace of Elvis Presley,
Mhm.
Tupelo, Mississippi. And said I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, so Graceland and great Elvis Presley. It's been probably 20 years ago. I bought a '76 Cadillac Seville that Elvis Presley bought, a powder blue Seville, and was given to his housekeeper, and I bought it from the son of the housekeeper.
Mhm.
And I've had some cars I wish I had kept.
Yeah, definitely. We've all been there. I've had a lot of vehicles that I wish I'd have kept over the years too,
Yes, sir.
and I just let them go. And yeah,
Yeah, Elvis bought all his Cadillacs from Madison Cadillac on Danny Thomas and Union, and then his Lincolns, Schelling Lincoln Mercury was a Lincoln dealership at Union and Pauline in Memphis, Tennessee. That's where he bought his cars from.
okay, very interesting. Absolutely. And now you do a lot of stuff through eBay.
Yes, sir. I sell car parts, brochures. I buy and sell. I probably buy more than I sell, but
Right.
but I collect car brochures, owner's manuals. I have a bunch of old car parts that I go to swap meets around, like Pettigene, usually Father's Day weekend, and
Mhm.
sometimes I go to the one in Springfield, Missouri, and different car shows that will have vendors where they sell car parts at, and cars. But,
Right.
yes, sir.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, we've been out to the Pettigene Car Show and walked around out there and saw a lot of neat stuff before, and a lot of stuff we couldn't afford for
Yes,
sure.
sir.
But yeah, there
Yeah,
was
the museum was founded by the Rockefellers.
yeah.
They
Yeah, they
was a
had
big
some
collector
money.
of. They were the wealthiest people in America for many years, up until the Apple and Bill Gates and all that came up. The Rockefellers.
Absolutely. Yeah, they were. That was pretty neat how they built that museum and everything up there. And just goes to show you who's got the money, you know.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it takes a lot of
Absolutely.
money to run a museum. They used to have a
Absolutely.
museum in Tupelo, Mississippi. It went out. It closed. It's probably been 3 or 4 years now, but they had some real nice collection. But keeping it maintained and staffed and everything, it takes a lot of money. The Lincoln Car Club, they have a museum at the Gilmore Complex in Indian Meadows, Michigan, and I think the budget, I don't 100,000 or something, just to keep it. I'm not sure the exact dollar amounts on just the Lincoln part of the museum, but it does cost money to upkeep it and change the cars out and so forth.
Absolutely. Now this, what we're looking at here is a picture of AMC. Was that a catalog? Or-
Yes, sir. Yeah, car brochures. I collect car brochures, owner's manuals, chassis manuals. From 60s to the 80s is generally, I think about 8,500 pieces of material. Last time I counted.
Okay. So now, have you ever owned AMC?
I have not ever owned an AMC. I have not ever owned, but I collect brochures from different cars, even but I don't own them. Mainly GM and Ford, Lincoln. I've had a Chrysler, had some Chrysler products, Imperials, New Yorkers. I'm always looking for something I need or don't need, or
Absolutely. Yeah, I know the feeling on that. Now, Alan Tommy, he actually had one. Well, you didn't have one, but your parents had AMC. What was it?
The old Pacer?
The Pacer. Yeah.
The old Pacer, yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of a thing back in the day. Yeah, they were kind of deemed dangerous, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, a lot of the older cars, the safety standards they have now were not, the Pintos in the 70s had the gas tanks that exploded when you hit the back bumper. And
Yeah.
of course, there's a lot of other cars that had the issue too, the safety stuff. The newer cars are very complicated now, but they are more safer. You're more likely to survive an accident with the airbags, anti-locking brakes, and all the sensors. But
Correct. Yeah.
but the older cars, the car will hold up on the older cars, and the newer car, the occupants are less likely to be injured.
Right.
But the car does not. It's toast because it's designed to collapse to keep from the accident crash going into the passenger compartment.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like, this is my opinion, I don't know, but to me it seems like more people pass away in the newer cars than what the old steel cars were because...
Yeah, they are more steel. They're more, a lot of them are plastic. Saturn GM tried the Saturn car and it was all plastic exterior panels on it. A lot of them are fiberglass. Yeah, the newer cars, of course, are not as big as they used to be. That's the reason why a lot of people like the SUVs and the trucks, because, in fact, all your manufacturers now pretty much do not sell or manufacture an automobile. Chrysler has one Dodge Hornet, and it's actually an Alfa Romeo underneath it. It's a car. Everything is SUV now.
Yeah.
And trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're stouter and they can pull stuff, and they're just stouter vehicles.
Absolutely. The older cars, they're just something nostalgic about them, though.
Right. Had unique designs like a Lincoln or a Cadillac or Imperial or Buick. They all had,
I had
60s and 80s. For a while they made them cookie cutter, and GM sort of messed up because I had an aunt one time that had a Cadillac and my 85 Fleetwood, if I remember right, the front wheel drive version, and my dad had a Buick Century, and they looked similar, and they were about $15,000 difference in price.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I had an Oldsmobile, a 1985 Oldsmobile. And it almost looks like your town car out there.
Yes, sir.
Almost. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that car though. That thing get up and go. It had that 360 off in there.
Right, yes, sir. And I did own for a while, a 76 Oldsmobile Tornado. 75 and 76 Oldsmobile, Buick, and Cadillac had airbags. It was a $600 option, if I remember right. They didn't have, they had lap belts, but they didn't have shoulder belts.
Right.
They tried that for a while, and I had a 76 Oldsmobile Tornado that had the airbags in it, and it didn't go over too well because people weren't going to spend $600 for airbags.
Right.
Yeah. Well, back then, you didn't. Most cars didn't have no airbags back
No.
then.
No, they tried it for 2 years and it didn't, and then federal government mandated it in the 90s. They started out with them in the steering wheel only, and then they added to the passenger, and now they have them all the way around.
Yeah. That thing to bust your nose or break your nose,
Yeah.
burn you.
Yes, they can
They
burn you.
used to.
Yes.
Yeah, they had a lot of problems with the Takata airbags.
Yes.
When they first
Pieces of
come
metal would injure you worse than the accident would. Yeah. Anytime you try new technology, there are Vegas, and when they first came out in the 70s, they had aluminum block motors, and now a lot of your cars have aluminum block motors. And Cadillac in the early 80s had an 864 system, and all your full V8 vehicles, trucks, they use the same 864 system on the cylinders, but it's computer controlled. So everything was a learning curve. The first fuel injected car was a 56 Chevy Bel Air, and I owned the 76 Seville I bought. It was fuel injected and still had issues, and now most mechanics now do not know how to work on a car with a carbureted fuel system.
Right. That's a shame how that's all going away. It seems like
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I have a 72 Chevrolet pickup truck. It's a long wheelbase, and I've got a 305 in it. And it came out of about an 85 model Chevy pickup
Right, yes, sir.
originally, and it's carbureted. It's got the HEI distributor in it and all that, and it's got the lap belt,
Right, yes, sir.
and Now, I love the old truck. I got to get her running again. But yeah, I do love my old truck.
Yes, sir.
But,
Yeah, cars were a little more simpler. They, but they didn't last as long without doing major work on them. Now, a Lincoln Town Car, the last General Panther, there's nothing unusual to get 500,000-600,000 miles on them if you take care of them. And
Yeah.
cars in the 50s and 60s, if you got 50,000 miles, it was ready for the scrap without rebuilding the car. And cars were a lot cheaper then.
sure.
So technology, and some things are better, some things, it's the nostalgia of the older cars and the designs, the 50s and 60s. They were very unique designs on the cars. I had a friend of mine in Chicago that has an Imperial. His car doesn't have it, but had an option of a record player in it.
Mm-hmm.
That played records on it.
Wow.
Yeah, that was.
That's definitely rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be before 8 tracks, right?
Right, yes, sir. Yeah,
Yeah.
Chrysler, the DeSoto, the Chrysler. I don't think they offered it on the Dodge, mainly the top of the line, the DeSoto and the Chrysler and Imperial. Imperial was a separate car than Chrysler.
Right.
They had the record player option on it.
Wow. Yeah, that'd be interesting there to see something like that,
Right, yes, sir.
Yeah. But so you say you've done this for quite a while and everything.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've always been into car stuff. I've
Mhm.
owned quite a few. Had a Nova one time, a '72 Nova that had a shifter, but didn't have a clutch.
Is that right?
That was Volkswagen also had that option early
Yeah.
'70s too. You would shift it, and it had a light to tell you on the dash to shift it, but it didn't have a clutch to it. So
Interesting.
yeah, a lot of all the car manufacturers over the years, they've tried things that have
Mhm.
flopped, were a big nightmare. The first
Oh yeah.
57, 58 Ford had a hardtop convertible that would go into the trunk.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of your convertibles do that now, but
Oh,
at
yeah.
the time it would get hung up and it had a lot of mechanical problems. Even when they do a lot of tests and when it gets in the real world, it doesn't work the same as like Chrysler has just discontinued manufacturing their Hemi motor on their trucks. They're
Right.
going to a Hurricane Turbo V6 with a sealed engine. You cannot check the fluid in it anymore.
Right.
Transmissions have been that way for a while, but now motors, you cannot check the fluid. You can add fluid to it, and a computer will tell you when it's time to change the oil and when it gets low, but you cannot check. It will not have a dipstick. It's a sealed engine.
Right.
wow.
Right. Well, folks, we are Outlaw Talk. I'm Blues Johnson. We got Hal and Tommy over here, and we are speaking with Mr. John Dancy over here, and we're talking about cars, and that's something that's dear to everybody's heart these days. We're getting into a little nostalgia here. You talked about the convertibles.
Yes, sir.
Going into the
Hardtop.
trunk. Well, one of my favorite vehicles. I wished I'd had one. They're just beautiful to me, and that is the '59 Ford Fairlane, the Galaxy 500, retractable hardtop. I've seen several of them. I don't know if y'all know the movie Ford Fairlane with Andrew Dice Clay in it. He had a red and white one in that movie.
1955 right there.
Yeah, that's
That's a
55
Ford Fairlane?
Sunliner.
Yes, sir. Yeah, this is the 55.
Yeah, he's
one
got
of
it.
them up there.
Yeah, let's see if we can get
Shot
a
of
close
that up there.
picture. Crown Vic, isn't it?
Yes, sir. With a glass, Ford had an option where it had a glass top on it. It didn't
Yeah.
open, but it was called it was Crown Victoria because it had the chrome piece, but it also had a fixed glass roof on it. It didn't open. Lincoln had that option in '75 to '77. They had a fixed glass sunroof. The glass did not open on it.
It's a very beautiful car. I've seen a couple of those out in the car shows and stuff like that.
Right. Yes, sir.
Yeah, the '59 Ford Fairlane, just something about that car I just dearly always loved, just the looks of them. It just kind of, that grill just looks so mean,
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And just that hardtop going into the trunk with that huge lid, boy. I mean,
Right, yes, sir.
it was really something, you know.
Yeah, they had a lot of tried different things because people would trade cars about every 2 years in the 50s and 60s and sometimes the 70s, would trade cars more often. And it was more of a production of when they would cover up the windows at the car dealerships before they would premiere the new car. And of course, fairgrounds, the state fairs is when people could see in late September, early October, the car models for the next year, which now they don't change them as much as they used to.
Absolutely. Let's see, I've got another picture here. I'll bring up here. Let's see. Oh, another Carl Perkins.
Yeah, Elvis
picture.
Presley, Johnny Cash, and Carl Perkins was the sideliner. He was,
Yeah.
his,
He's a front man.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, this is a very nice picture.
It's story time, people. Let me tell you, we lived out at Monticello one time, and we're talking about vehicles and stuff. Well, we worked for a tomato company. It's called Monticello Tomato Company.
Yep.
Okay.
They had a Chevrolet van there, at 3-speed on the column. I had to learn how to drive that 3-speed on the column. That's about the hardest thing I ever did, learn how to drive. Well, I went over there, and where Monticello is to Warren is like, what, 35, 40-minute drive
Something like that.
to drop off some tomatoes. And it was on a Saturday afternoon. I went and dropped them off. And I started on my way back. And here I got that thing up in the 3rd speed, and I was going, you know. That's my first time ever driving at 3 speed on the column. And all of a sudden I looked, and I'm like, what in the world? My tire done passed me.
Oh, okay.
And it went down the ditch,
Oh, okay.
everything. And I was like, oh, man. So I had to ease on that brake. I went nose first down in the ditch like that. But it didn't hurt nothing or nothing. But that goes to show you, because that was an old van. It was
Right.
1976, I think it was. Chevrolet 3-speed on the column.
Yep.
And that van was tough, but I wasn't expecting no tire to pass me, going down the highway.
Right. Yes.
But I had to use the ditch. I had to go in there and see if I can use their phone so I can get a tow truck to bring me all the way back to the docks. But,
Right. Yes.
yeah.
Interesting times, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it was funny though.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt.
It wasn't funny when it happened because it scared me because I wasn't expecting my tire to pass me.
Yeah.
Driving at 55 miles an hour.
Yeah. Somebody didn't put the lug nuts on real tight.
Well, the lug nuts, they all just broke.
Oh, they broke off. Okay.
Yeah, they
It was
just all of them
mechanical failure.
snapped. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The person that was supposed to take care of all of that,
Wasn't checking it. Right.
yeah, he wasn't checking nothing.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I drive a truck for a living, and I've seen some stuff out here on the road. There's things that's I can't figure it out. I mean, I'll go down the road and I'll see a brake shoe from a big truck just laying on the shoulder of the road, and I'm thinking, all right, so brake shoes are normally up in the drum, How in the world does this happen? But you'd be surprised how many times I've seen that. And I actually was driving through Texas one time, and I heard on the radio that this driver was hollering at another driver, and said, "Hey, try to get that truck's attention up there in front of you. He just threw out a brake shoe right into a windshield of somebody's car."
Goodness.
And you get him stopped, get some information. And I don't know if they ever actually got the guy pulled over or not, but I heard him on the radio say, "Well, I'm not having any problems out of my brakes. You sure it's me? You sure it was me?" But yeah, I mean that's the scary situation when you're driving along and all of a sudden something just flies at you
Yes.
through the windshield,
Yes, sir.
or hits
Yeah.
you.
Anything can happen when you're driving.
Yeah.
I've my cars, I have those deer horns on it.
Yep.
And of course, I had one time had a Cimarron, Cadillac Cimarron, the jazzed up Cavalier.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I had the deer hit it even with the deer horn whistles on it.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. We had a Cavalier one time, and yeah, those things. When deer like that hits you or something like that, you might as well hang it up. That thing's
Yes.
pretty much toast.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir.
What's the furthest you've been to get a vehicle and drive it back?
Furthest I've been, well, I used to have a sales job in the 90s to 2000 where I traveled all over the country, and I've been in Dakotas and Utah and California. That was, but car shows, the Lincoln Car Club, I've been to Morgantown, Pennsylvania. They have it was an old mall connected to a Holiday Inn that's turned into a car dealership. They sell cars online. And so I've been to Hershey, Pennsylvania. I've been to the Gilmore Museum in Indian Meadows, Michigan.
So you've just been all around.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I go to car shows. And
Which one you like the most?
well, the one in Hershey, Pennsylvania is the biggest I've been to so far. Like I said, it had all kinds of stuff. And the Auto Appraisal Group, they usually have a booth there, and that's the reason why I went there. But that one in Hershey, because I saw the last day of the car show, I met Jay Leno. He was there with one of his steamers. He collects steamers. That's cars that run steam powered. And I saw a lot of cars at the car show that I'd never seen in person. I've seen pictures of 20s and 30s, and like when I go to Lincoln Car Club events, those people have Lincolns from the 20s and 30s that I don't see in person.
Right. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Have you ever traveled outside the United States and to
No,
view a
sir.
car?
No, sir. No, I would like to go to see in England where they make the Rolls Royce. I've inspected Rolls Royce cars. They're still hand built. I think they're owned by Volkswagen, or I don't. It's changed who owns what now, but
Right.
and there's also a Toyota Century. It is a hand-built car made in Tokyo, made by Toyota. It competes with the Rolls Royce car. They're not more West Coast. You don't see them in this part of the country, but the Toyota Century is the hand-built car built by Toyota
Interesting.
to compete with the Rolls Royce.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
That'd be cool though.
Yeah.
Go
So-
some different
And I belong to the
countries.
Mid-South Car Club. We meet the
Yeah.
last Thursday night at El Porton and outside as you go out towards Sheridan to Little Rock.
Okay.
And we have a car show in September. We just had one. It raised, I think, like $33,000 or something, and it goes to the McCoy Tigert to help people who cannot pay their medical prescription bills.
Prescriptions.
Yes, sir. So
Mhm.
there's still mainly car clubs. Unfortunately, the younger generation are not interested in car clubs. They will go to cruises, but car clubs are mainly the older generation, as far as they.
Okay.
But they do. There's a lot of different car clubs still around in this area of the country and nationwide.
Sure.
Yeah, the Antique Automobile Association. They're the ones that sponsor the one at Hershey, Pennsylvania, the car show.
Okay.
And they have them all over the country, the different regions.
I got you. Okay. Well, is there anybody that you'd like to give a shout out to on here? The people that you've met over time that really made an impact with you?
Well, I've had several guys that I've met in car club, Lincoln Car Club. A guy I can think of, it's James Capello. He has a few Lincolns. He's moved from Pennsylvania to Indian Meadows, South Carolina, close to Fort Mill, and all my mother's family is from Fort Mill, South Carolina. And he has 15 or 20, I'm not exactly how many Lincolns he has in parts, and he has quite a few Lincolns, and there's so many different gentlemen I've met over the years. I've met some, when I go to Lincoln Car Club events, engineers and designers for the Lincoln Motor Company. It's interesting to get their perspective on somebody who's designed a car, and 4 years ago, 2017, I believe, went to the Ford headquarters in Dearborn, Michigan, and a lot of designers and engineers at the corporate office and Ford Motor have never seen these old cars. So I've met all different kinds of gentlemen who into car stuff locally and nationwide, and try to. Hemming Motor News is a magazine's been around for years.
Sure.
They have a lot of articles. Always have a listing. Old Car Weekly. Of course it's now every other weekly because magazines are not as trendy and popular as they used to be. And
Everybody go online now and just
because I think
Yeah.
another Motor Trend or some magazine just recently went away. There's not as many car magazines. People don't like print. It's
Right.
just not as popular, trendy as it used to be. And I like the hard copies actually.
Yeah, since everything went digital, all that good stuff's gone. That
Right,
was
yes, sir.
back
Yeah,
like it used to be.
yeah. That's of course you have access to stuff. You can Google if you're working on restoring a car. You can Google how to YouTube and how to fix a part, and other people show videos, and that's good resources on that I still have. When I buy a car, I buy a service manual, and it breaks down the parts and how to repair the car. But there's social media, and it has a good outlet. But
YouTube's a pretty good friend to a lot of folks.
yes, sir. I've used it to how to repair stuff on the house.
Yeah.
I have solar panels, and I was having an issue with one of the capacitors on the solar panel, and there are a lot of resources on YouTube on how to repair stuff.
Yeah, that's what my wife uses to fix my vehicles with, YouTube.
Right.
I ain't ashamed to admit it. She's my mechanic.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and I also follow a lady early in the morning, Brenda Gant. She does cooking videos out of Alabama. She has a bed and breakfast. A lot of your wives may know, or she's how to cook stuff from scratch, pies, cookies. She teaches you how to cook stuff on, not just go to the store and heat and serve.
Yeah, real stuff.
Real stuff.
Yeah.
Real Southern cooking.
Absolutely. That's pretty neat. Yeah, and she's from where now?
Alabama. I think it's Alabaster. I'm not 100% sure. She's close to Florida. She has her bed and breakfast. It's called Tuttle House Bed and Breakfast. And Brenda Gant, but I think it's Alabaster, Analusta, Alabama.
Analusta.
I believe. I'm probably misspelling it right, but she's southern Alabama, close to Florida, is where she's located.
You
She's
said she had a website, right?
well, she has a Facebook page, but I don't think she has a website. She does promote Y'all Sweet Tea and Superior Catfish. She has some sponsors, and she has some cookbooks she has written. I think she's on her 3rd edition of a cookbook. So
Okay. Well, maybe people go in there and look at her on Facebook and get some recipes and get themselves a little belly on them.
There you
Just
go.
a little bit.
A little bit of good food in them, huh?
Or just wish that you could cook like that, one or
Right.
the other,
yes,
Right.
yes, sir. Yeah. Now, when anybody can ask if anybody has any questions about car stuff, or
Yeah, if anybody on here has any questions,
if you have any
anything-
comments or questions about cars or stories about cars you've owned in the past, or anything, like I said, I do car appraisals, but anything I can ever help you with, you can Google me, Auto Appraisal Group, Central Arkansas, and if any way I can help you with any, if you got cars for sale, you're looking for a car, you have a car you want to restore, whatever car-related questions. If I don't have the answer, I know other people that can help me find out, because that's a big issue now. I notice is finding people who restore cars, know how to work on older cars, and is honest. Because as I do auto appraisals, my purpose is to take a lot of pictures but also look for body. Somebody is selling a '66 Mustang that says it has original paint job. I have a paint meter, and it tells you the thickness of the paint. If it's original paint, it should read 6 or so, but if it's got 20s and 30s, the car has been painted several times, and there's Bondo underneath the car, so the car does
Right.
not have original paint. And I measure the frame, and the reason of measuring the wheelbase
Mhm.
of the car is if the car has ever been altered, the frame has been, it will not be, example, a 86 Cutlass Supreme has a 108 wheelbase. And if it doesn't have a 108 wheelbase, the frame has been modified. And, so
Interesting.
that's part of what I do is to
Yeah.
inspect what's really true about the car.
Yeah, that's true. And, it's like my old 72, it's a long wheelbase. A lot of people cut them down to make
Yes.
short wheelbase out of.
Right.
And you can pretty much tell that as soon as you look at
Yes,
it
sir.
sometimes.
Yes, sir.
And especially if you get that tape measure out, you're definitely going to know.
Right, yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
A lot of
Okay.
people do that because it seems like the short beds bring more money. That's
Right.
that's what everybody's kind of wanting is a
Yes,
short
sir.
bed.
Yeah.
I'm keeping mine long bed because I'm OG, folks.
Right.
I'm an
Yeah.
original. I'm
Yeah,
gonna keep
I-
it that way.
I prefer the long beds because you can actually haul stuff in it.
You
know,
can.
'cause,
Absolutely.
A full sheet of plywood will fit in the back of the long bed
Full
truck.
sheet. Yeah.
Even
Short,
your
short
bed.
bed's got to lean over
Yeah.
tailgates
Exactly.
and maybe blow out if you don't have it secured right.
Hey, I've hauled a lot of stuff with my old 72. I've had that thing pulled up with anything from plywood, firewood for the house. I've had rock in it, and just I will tell you, it was definitely down low, and I felt every bump. But yeah, I've done that, and the old truck just held up just like a charm. But so I got another picture on here. I want to show y'all folks. John's got like several little cars and stuff, and that he's collected over the years. How long have you been collecting?
Ever since I was old enough to, probably 5 years old or so, I collect model cars and Matchbox cars and Johan model dealer promo cars. I don't have them all displayed, but yeah, I've always collected car stuff.
Okay. So do you have I know we hadn't talked about it yet, but do you have a favorite collector car?
I like the dealer promo cars that car dealerships would give out to kids in the 50s and 60s and 70s. They were more unique, and the car dealerships don't do that anymore. Car dealerships don't even have brochures much anymore, because everything's done online. But I like the dealer promo model is my favorite of different cars.
Right. And the reason I ask is I'm a Hot Wheels collector. I've collected since I was a wee little old lad too. And
I got about 70 boxes full of Hot
I've
Wheels.
got a bunch of them. I
Yes.
love them. Yeah. I've always collected them. Got a picture of me when I was about 3 or 4 years old on my little old trike, little three-wheel trike thing, and holding my little box of Hot Wheels, Just good old times.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people do collecting, and usually if you start off with cars,
Yes.
you're always going to be in the automotive industry in some way. You're going to,
Right.
you're definitely going to want to share and tell folks about what you've got, show them what you've got, and all that. We're going to switch gears just a tad bit right here real
Okay.
quick, and we're going to get off cars for a second, and we're going to talk about something else. We're not going to talk about it for a long period of time here, but we're going to mention it. But we're going to talk a little bit about gun safety. Just a tiny bit about it, And do you know anything about guns? Do you collect them, or do
I have
you
a few
shoot?
guns that I passed from my dad.
Mhm.
That's mainly car stuff is mine. Yeah, but
Right.
Fortunately, they don't in school teach gun safety and respect for guns.
They
That's-
don't.
And
They
that's-
need to.
They
that's-
need to.
Yeah, because they have respect for guns, and it's a serious issue when you shoot somebody.
Or if you shoot yourself.
Or if you shoot
yeah,
yourself.
kid, keeping guns out where kids can get to them, and
Yeah.
I don't understand the concept of not teaching gun safety there, and just
Right.
respect for it.
Well, the reason we bring this up is because we know somebody recently that was kind of, I guess, practicing or whatever.
His gun was jammed,
His gun was, he got his gun jammed.
and he tried to unjam it.
He tried to unjam it, but he did not put the safety on. Not sure what kind of gun he had.
9mm,
He had a 9mm,
older model. Yeah.
older model, so semi-automatic,
Yeah.
and he did not put the safety on, and the crazy fool tried to unjam the gun, and the gun did what?
It went off.
It went off.
Oh, goodness.
Where did it go off?
He had it against his leg, and he shot himself through the leg.
Shot
Oh,
himself
goodness.
through the leg, right
Oh,
around
goodness.
the kneecap, didn't he?
Oh,
Right
goodness.
above it. He got lucky. It went underneath the kneecap and straight out the other end.
Oh,
Right.
goodness.
So, when it comes to guns, folks, if you're not comfortable around them,
Don't touch him.
don't touch them. If you get too lax, because I've seen this with everything. If you get too lax with anything and you just let it,
Don't
you
think
think
about
it's second nature that you're going to be just fine and everything, and then all of a sudden, poof, something like that happens.
Right.
It's like I'll go back to like driving a truck or driving your vehicle going down the road. You get too lax, you get comfortable with doing something a certain way, and you just think everything's just fine, and anything can happen in the blink of an eye. And you lax on safety, and that's a big concern, because it's like he didn't set the safety on the gun before he tried to unjam it. Well, if you go nonchalantly in your personal vehicle or whatever, and you say you don't normally think about your lug nuts on your vehicle,
Right.
and well, sometimes over time they can loosen up, or somebody else can go over there and loosen them up for you, and then all of a sudden
Yes.
everything goes haywire,
Yes.
and it's like with the big truck, you get comfortable, like me, you pull up into a fuel island to get fuel, and you've got somebody that's not quite right in the head. They'll come over there and pull your fifth wheel latch, and all of a sudden, you're thinking you're just going to go, and then all of a sudden, the trailer goes, poof, and you go, whoop, and and you're looking like a fool. Because you
That sounds
laxed
like
on
that's happened
safety.
once or twice.
It's happened once or twice to a lot of drivers out there. I've seen it done several times. They'll get out there and it's a normal thing that happens. You just lax on your safety. You get out there and pull the pin on your tandems back there in the back, and if you don't latch it back, some of them are air assist now, and that's really good. But sometimes if you don't check it and you don't lock those pins in on that trailer, then and you just let it go, you be going down the road, and then all of a sudden you just tap your brakes or something, and them tandems on that trailer are going to go flying out on the interstate, and you're going to be changing your underwear.
Right.
I promise you.
Yeah.
But be careful out there with guns. Even your personal vehicle and stuff like that. It's like, you might shut your hood on your car or something like that, and you don't check it to make sure it's gone all the way down or something like that. You go down the road, and all of a sudden, it goes flying up.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And-
Air pressure, airing up tires.
Yep.
Especially semi trucks, you watch them
Yep.
explode, because I know a gentleman who died from the tire exploding
Yeah.
on a semi truck, Peterbilt many years ago, and you wouldn't think that would happen, but
Yep.
that much of air coming out of the tire. It is a balloon.
Yep. That's right. Yeah, if you're not careful, you know that tire can deflate really fast, blow up. You lose control, you're gone. You know, it's the same way in your personal car. You know, your little car. You just, you know, I see people drive up and down the highway all the time here in Sheridan. You know, they don't care about the speed limit, and you know, some of them, you get a blowout where you're going that fast. You know, because I like I say, I've seen them do 75, 80 miles an hour down 167 and across 272. You know, and you know they'll just, you know, they have blowout. It's gone. They're off in the trees every time. You know, you can't get lax on your safety, and you really need to watch out, folks. 'Cause it's a big concern. You know?
Yeah, I see too many people on 270 between here and Sheridan just flying down the road and trying to pass and trying to get there first. And only my old saying I've heard for many years: the only way you're in a hurry to is get to the grave.
Yeah, that's right. You know,
Because you're not using common sense when you're just trying to be there first. You don't win the prize when you're dead.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
Well, you know, they got that mentality from Talladega Nights. You know, if
Yes.
you ain't first, you're last.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. A lot of these
Yeah.
roads out here are just paved buggy trails, and
Yeah,
they're not.
that's right. That's right. Well, we're getting kind of short on time here now, folks. Hal and Tommy, you got anything else you want to holler at them about?
Well, you know, he gave off his email a while ago. If people wants to holler at him and stuff, we're gonna get that shot up there to y'all, so we can.
Yeah, if any of you have any questions about car related, looking to buy a car, sell a car, questions, if I can't get the answer to the question, I will do some research to find it. You just want me to come by and look at your car collection, look at your car, have a story to tell, or whatever. I'm open to meeting new people. Like I said, the Mid-South Car Club, we meet El Porton in Sheridan the last Thursday night at 6 o'clock. And there's all these little towns have. Whitehall has one at the Ranch House. I think it's the second Tuesday of the month. Friendship Club, and there's all, you know, but it just more connection and more people you get to know help you out when you're, especially when you're working underneath a car. Always have somebody there to help you out in case the car falls, the jack stands. You know, I've known people who have been injured very severely and even died from a car falling on them from working underneath a car.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's all about that safety, folks. You know, you get under there and you get lax on your safety. There you go.
Yes.
But yeah, if y'all have any questions, anything that we've talked about, Mr. John Dancy right here can definitely help you. Look for him on Facebook.
Yes, sir. And you can Google Auto Appraisal Group, and
Google Auto Appraisal Group.
and there's my business card with my phone number on it.
Let's get this
I still
business
have my
card up
Memphis
here.
number on it.
Let's see if we can. Yeah, it might be backwards on the camera. But yeah. Let's see here.
Let's see if we bring over here.
Let's see if I can maybe do a little flip on the camera here. Nope, I can't do that.
Yeah, we fix this shit on that one.
Let's see here. If I can, yeah, you can get it on that camera right there. That would be awesome.
You got it? We can read it? Okay.
All right. Got it on that camera. Let's get it back up here again. And I'm sorry it's backwards, but if y'all can,
We're
Kinda-
backwards kind of people.
we're backwards folks. But
We're from the country. We're backwards folks.
y'all read it backwards to yourself, yeah, and all that. But we'll take a picture of it and we'll stick it up there on the on our page so y'all can actually see it.
Okay.
And but yeah, any questions at all, you know, contact John and he will hook you up. I promise you. All right, just took a picture of it. Right there live on the camera.
Yeah,
There you go, sir.
He's still got his Memphis phone
Yeah.
number on it, but
Yes, sir.
it's
Yep.
all good.
Yeah, it's all good. And contact him on the Facebook.
He lives here in Sheridan,
Lives there in Sheridan,
so
real close to it. And but he's a Sheridan man,
yeah, or Whitehall, or
or Whitehall, or whatever you want to call
if
it.
you got a nice car, he might come look at it for you. So
That's right. But y'all just get in touch with him for anything, and we're gonna go ahead
and
and
we want to thank him for coming on the
Yeah.
show today. We
Thank
thank
you.
you very much.
Appreciate it.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming on, and we're gonna mention you on our next live podcast and everything too, and get you try to get you a little more attention there. And if you have any other questions for us, you can reach out to us, and we'll definitely let you know what's going on. But well, for today, it's been Outlaw Talk. And we have been talking to Mr. John Dancy. I'm Blues Johnson,
I'm Howlin' Tommy.
and we appreciate y'all coming on and watching us live. And, well, we'll see you next time, folks.
Bye.